Many years ago, in a small village between two big mountains and a winding river, people lived simple and happy lives. Among them there was a young man named Arun. He was strong and hardworking but had no patience for kindness. "Only the strong survive," he would say. He helped others only if there was something in it for him. People respected his skills but never fully trusted him. To them, strength alone was not enough. Compassion mattered too. One evening, an old traveler arrived in the village. His hair was white as snow and his eyes sparkled with wisdom. He carried only a small bag and a wooden staff. Curious villagers gathered around as he made his way to the village square. "I am just a traveler," he said. "I want nothing but a place to rest and a warm meal." The villagers whispered among themselves, unsure. Arun shook his head. "Why should we feed and shelter someone who gives us nothing in return?" The old man smiled. "Sometimes those who give receive much more than they expect." A kind widow stepped forward. "Come with me, traveler. I don't have much, but I will share what I have." The traveler thanked her and followed her home. Some villagers nodded in approval at the widow's generosity while others agreed with Arun. That night a big storm came. The wind howled, the rain poured, and the river swelled. By morning the village's only bridge, their path to the nearby town where they traded goods, was gone. Panic spread through the village. "Without the bridge, how will we sell our crops? How will we survive?" the villagers cried. The village elder called everyone together. "We must rebuild the bridge. But it will take many hands." Arun stepped forward. "I will help, but only if I am paid. My work is not free." The elder sighed, but before he could say anything the old traveler spoke. "Let us work together, not for money but for the good of all. Why should we be kind when we have nothing to eat? Listen." The villagers moved in closer as the traveler spoke. There were two farmers. One kept his grain locked away, afraid of running out. The other shared his food with his neighbors. Then a drought came. The selfish farmer watched his supplies disappear but had no one to help him. The generous farmer had many who cared for him. When his food ran out, his neighbors shared with him. In the end, he survived and the selfish farmer did not. The villagers thought about the story. Arun crossed his arms. "That's just a story. In real life, only the strong survive." The traveler nodded. "Then let life be your teacher." The villagers started building the bridge. Some worked because they had to, others out of kindness. The kind widow cooked food for the workers. "A full belly gives strength to tired hands," she said with a smile. Seeing her kindness, more villagers started sharing tools, meals, and encouragement. The work became lighter. Arun watched. He had always relied only on himself, but now he saw people helping each other. After some hesitation, he accepted a shared meal. Slowly, he joined their laughter and teamwork. Days passed and the bridge was nearing completion. Arun no longer worked for payment. He worked because he wanted to help. The old traveler watched him with quiet satisfaction. One evening, as Arun was carrying a heavy log to the riverbank, an old woman slipped on the muddy ground. Before she could fall, Arun instinctively caught her and helped her up. The woman smiled. "Thank you, Arun. That was very kind." Arun hesitated before nodding. He had not helped her for a reward. He had simply done what felt right. The realization hit him like lightning. That night, as the villagers sat around the fire, the traveler turned to Arun. "So what do you think of kindness now?" Arun looked at the villagers sharing food and stories. "Maybe I was wrong. Kindness isn't weakness. It helps both the giver and the receiver." The traveler nodded. "Kindness is like a seed. You don't always see its value right away, but given time it grows into something strong." That night Arun lay awake thinking. He had spent his life believing strength meant being alone. But now he saw true strength came from helping others and being part of something bigger. Finally the bridge was finished, stronger than before. The village celebrated not just because they had a new bridge, but because they had grown closer. Arun was part of them now. He turned to the traveler and said, "Kindness is not weakness after all." The traveler laughed. "Kindness is the strongest force of all. It builds bridges, not just of wood and stone but of hearts and lives." Next morning the traveler was gone, leaving only his staff by the widow's door as a silent thank you. From that day on, Arun changed. He gave freely, expecting nothing in return, and found himself richer in ways he had never imagined. The village also grew stronger, bound by kindness that lasted through the years. Many years later, when Arun was an old man, a young boy came to him and said, "Kindness is for the weak." Arun smiled and replied, "Then let life be your teacher." As he watched the boy walk away, he saw a young traveler approaching the village, weary and hungry. Without hesitation, Arun stepped forward and said, "Come, friend. I don't have much, but I will share what I have." And so, kindness continued to grow, touching every heart it met. Kindness does not make you weak. It builds strength, trust, and connections that last forever.